Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'll be making this beautiful pleated palazzo pants and this cowl neckline top. So I'll be working on the front part of my pants first. I'm going to be drafting the pattern before transferring it to my fabric. So this is the paper I'll be using to draft. There's a straight line on the top of the paper which is going to serve as my starting line. So from my starting line, the first line I'm going to be drawing is my crotch line, and to get my crotch line, to get the length of my crotch line, I'm going to divide my hip measurements divided by 4, which is going to give me 9 inches. I'm going to add 1.5 inches to it for ease, and I'm going to add 1 inch seam allowance to it. Altogether I'm going to have 11.5. That means I added 2.5 inches to my actual crotch measurements. So I'll be from the starting line, I'll be marking down the 11.5 for my crotch line. So I'm going to roll out the dot I made on a straight line, and it's going to serve as my crotch line. For my crotch extension for the front, I'm going to be dividing my hip measurements by 20, which is going to give me 1.8 inches. So I'm going to extend my crotch line for the front by 1.8 inches. So I just marked the 1.8 inches on my crotch line, and I'm going to extend it to my starting line. So from the center of my crotch extension line, I'm going to go up by 1 inch, and I'm going to connect it to the main crotch line so that I'll make that part curvy. For the width of the pant, I multiplied my hip measurement by 1.5 inches, so I got 54 inches. I folded the 54 inches into 2 to draft this front pattern. So the width depends on how wide you want your pants to be. If you don't want it that wide, you can just stick to your hip measurement. That means you're going to fold your hip measurement into 2 to draft your front pattern. So at the side of this, I'm going to be going in by 2 inches because I want it to be curvy. This is a female pant, so I'm going to connect the 2 inches to my hip line. So my hip from my waist to my hip is 9 inches, so I marked the is 8 inches, sorry, so I marked the 8 inches and connected it to it at this side. So now I'm going to be taking the length of my pants. The actual length of my pants is 41 inches, so I'm going to be marking 42 inches for this because I really want my pants to be long. I'm going to be marking 42 inches for this minus the band I'll be adding to it. So I'm going to roll out a straight line on the dot I made for the length. Now I'm going to extend the line at the side to the base of the pants. Then I'm going to cut off the excess part of the paper. I'll be making use of 3 yards of crepe fabric for this 2-piece. So I'll be using this pattern to cut out my back fabric first. So my fabric is already folded into 2. For the crotch extension for the back, I'm going to be dividing my hip measurement by 10 inches. So what I add 3.6, so I marked down the 3.6. Make sure you add extra allowance like 4 inches to your back fabric before folding it. So I marked the 3.5 inches as my crotch extension line for the back. Then I'm going to be adding 1 inch to this side as my zipper allowance. Then I'm going to trace the rest the same. Then I'm going to cut off the excess part of the pants. So this is what the front fabric is looking like. So I'm going to join the crotch extend I'm going to join the crotch line together to the crotch extension line. Make sure the two right sides of your fabric are facing each other before joining. So before I cut out my front piece from the center of the pattern, I'm going to be coming down by half an inch and I'm going to connect it to the side of the paper like this. Hope you guys can see it. I'm going to connect it in a slanted way and I'm going to cut that part out before cutting my front fabric. So I've gone ahead to cut out my front fabric. This is what they are looking like. It is folded into two. So I'm going to join the crotch line to the crotch extension line for the front as well. So I'm done joining the crotch line together and this is what I have. So this is a pleated pant. So this is what the waist is looking like. So I'm going to be pleating the waist. So my waist measurement is 26 inches divided by 2 is going to give me 13 inches. You have to pleat this to your waist measurement divided by 2 plus the allowance you'll be adding to it. So we join two fabric together to make the front, so I'll be doing this from one side to another. So I just marked my bust span, that's my nipple to nipple measurements divided by 2, which is 4 inches on the pant. So I'm going to pleat this part, so I'll get 8 inches. I want the total of the waist to be 16 inches. That is my actual waist measurements divided by 2 plus the allowance I'll be adding to it. So this is how I'll be pleating my pants. Then I'm going to pin it down. So you can pleat it whatever way you want to. You can make your own pleats more tinier than this. It depends on how you want it. So my pleat is going to face this side for this part of the pant. So I'm going to pleat the second one as well. Then I'm going to check the measurements too. So you can adjust your pleating if it's not giving you the measurement you want to get. So for this other side of the pleating, I'm going to mark my bust span divided by 2 as well. My pleating is going to start from there, which is 4 inches. So my pleating is going to start from this side and I'm going to pleat that part. So I told you guys I want to get 16 inches. That is my actual waist measurement point plus the allowance for both sides of the pants. So make sure as you pleat you get something close to your waist measurements with the allowance with the stitching allowance you'll be adding to it. So you can keep adjusting the pleats to get what you want. So after I was done pleating, I checked the waist measurement and I got the 16 inches. So I'm going to head over to my machine and I'm going to stitch these pleats down so that I will secure it. So I'm done securing the pleating and this is what I have. So I did the same thing for my back piece as well. I pleated it like the front. Now I'm going to join both the front and the back fabric together. So I'm going to place the two right sides of the fabric on each other. Then I'm going to join the sides on the waist. I'm going to take my waist measurements divided by 2. Then I'm going to sew the side in by 1 inch to the base of my trouser. So I'm done joining the sides of the pants together. So this is what I have. So I went ahead to open up the zipper allowance at the back of my pants. I'll be adding my zipper to the back of the pants. So for me to get the length of the band I'll be using, I'm going to be measuring the waist of this pant around. Whatever I have will be the length of the band I'll be attaching to it. So this is the fabric I'll be using for the band. I went ahead to iron this estate to the fabric to give it some strength. So the fabric is way too wide for my band, so I'll be cutting out 1.5 inch from it. The width is 6.5, so I'm going to cut out 1.5 inch from it. So this is how I'll be attaching the band to my pants. So you can attach the band to your pants the normal way by facing the two right sides together then stitching it round, or you can do this method. So I'm going to place the band on the wrong side of my fabric like this, then I'm going to sew the band round to my waist, then I'm going to turn the band over to the right side and I'm going to close it up around as well. So I'm going to be joining the down part of my pants as well. So I'm going to place the two centers on each other like this, then I'm going to sew from one end to another. So when I'm done doing that, I'm going to attach my zipper to the back as well. So I'm done attaching my band and my zipper to my pants, and I went ahead to join the down part as well. So this is what I have. So I'm just going to hem the base on of the trouser and that'll be all for my pants. For the top, I'll be making use of this pattern. For my shoulder to my chest line is 8 inches. Then for my shoulder to my waistline is 15 inches and my top length is 18 inches. So I'll be using this fabric to cut the back. So I'll just be using these basic bodies to cut the back of the top before working on the front. So I'm going to be folding my fabric into two, then I'm going to place this on it and cut out the back. So before I cut the front piece, this is a cowl neckline top. So this chest line, I'm going to open it up like this to the armhole. So I'm going to extend my chest line like this to my armhole. I'm going to draw a straight line from there like this and I'm going to blend it to the chest line. You guys can see what I'm saying. So I'm going to open up the center like this. I'm not going to open everything, but I'm going to open it up to this point before placing the pattern on my fabric. So this is the fabric I'll be using for the front as well. So I'm going to fold it into two equal parts and I'm going to place it on it like this. I'm going to properly arrange it. So this opening at the front will determine how your cowl neckline is going to fall. So you can extend it to any length you want. So it depends on how you want yours to fall. So I'm going to trace my fabric. I'm going to trace the pattern, sorry, on my fabric. So from the shoulder like this, I'm going to roll a straight line to the center of my fabric and I'm going to trace the remaining parts. Then I'm going to cut off the excess part of my fabric. So I'll be cutting a facing that I'll be using to turn the neckline. So I'm going to fold this piece into two and I'm going to place the front piece on it. So the length of your facing should be long enough to cover your armhole because this is a sleeveless top. So I'll make sure this extend to the end of my armhole. So I'm going to cut the facing around to the shape of the top. I'm going to cut a facing for the back as well, so I'll make sure it covers the armhole for the back. So this is what the facing is looking like. So I'm going to open up my front piece like this. Then I'm going to place the facing on it. I'll make sure the right side of the facing is facing the right side of my front piece. Then I'm going to sew it round to my arm. So I'm done turning the neckline of the back piece with the facing. I did the same thing for the front as well. So I'm going to place the two right sides of both the front and the back together. Then I'm going to join the shoulders. After joining the shoulder, I'm going to join the sides of my fabric by 1 inch. I'm going to join the sides of my fabric by 1 inch. Then I'm going to hem the base of the top.